very much. It's a pleasure to join you this morning. My goal this morning is to take you through some of the big policy announcements and shifts that have come across in the recent weeks and we might expect in the future. I will dwell probably quite significantly on Ofsted and also on assessment as well, for which we have many changes coming to face us. Indeed, I was speaking to a civil servant a couple of weeks ago who confidently asserted that the system will have settled down and everything will be stable by 2023. Looking across, you'll all still be working at that point in time, so you'll have to deal with the consequences of this. So we shall explore some of the turbulent changes that we've got ahead of us as a result of Michael Gove's legacy. Now, that can be quite depressing, thinking about that sort of stuff. So I'd also like to spend some time talking about what we as a profession can do to make sure that we don't get done to. Because we've had a lot of being done to over the last 4 years or so, and I'd like to explore how we can stop that from happening in the future. I'm not sure we can eliminate it entirely, but I think we can substantially reduce the volume of political interference that we have to face. But that does involve us stepping up as a profession and asserting our professionalism, and I'd like to look a little bit about what that means. If we've got some time, then we can do some questions and stuff and see and pick up any topics that I've not been able to cover. Now, this is the first term without Michael Gove in a very long period of time. I don't know if it feels any better or not. I suspect you haven't had time to think about whether it feels better, to be honest, because he's left you quite a bit to do in the meantime to be going on with. Nicky Gove, that says a lot, doesn't it, on that one. Nicky Morgan is our new Secretary of State for Education. She's been in front of the Education Select Committee on the television a few times in recent days. She was particularly being grilled over academy chains yesterday, I believe, or the day before, where she was trying to defend why they won't inspect academy chains as an entity, which I think is quite an interesting question when they can inspect local authorities as an entity, but they can't do the same for the chains to look at the quality of service. But she was deliberately brought in, I believe, to create a tone of reconciliation, to try and settle things down, and we may be wondering why they are interested in building bridges with over 1 million voters who work in education in the next 7 months. I think they've realised that there might be some bridges to build on that regard. One of the big areas that they've focused on, and I don't know if you saw this, I think earlier in the week, is workload. That's going to be where they engage with. Nick Clegg has set up the workload challenge. You've got the opportunity to go online and fill in some forms about your workload, which is ironic in its own right, I suspect. It's a bit like the subcommittee for the reduction of bureaucracy, which was a real entity in the Department for Education for quite a while. But workload they've started to notice as a significant issue, and they're looking for ideas around how workload could be reduced. I wonder how many of the suggestions they get will be palatable to them as a result of that. And I also wonder how many will feature Ofsted as part of that feature in terms of creating workload.